Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Where we continue to follow the capture and killing of Osama bin Laden now.
Those are just some of the scenes overnight as thousands of Americans gathered in celebration of Osama bin Laden's death.
Former Navy SEAL Rob O'Neill says he has thought about the mission every day since that May Day in 2011.
From multiple conversations you had with Rob O'Neill over the past year and a half, how'd you get
access? And you described that his head kind of exploded when you hit him.
I actually hit him 3 times because I shot him twice when he was standing and once on the ground.
That is the fucking American badass right there.
We are not going for fame and we are not going for bravado. We are going for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school on a Tuesday morning, and then 45 minutes later she jumped to her death out of a skyscraper.
If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator.
I'm Rob O'Neill, and this is the Operator Podcast. So, back at it in this comfortably large seat, leather chair. Got a couple of them here. I kind of like them. We got them for these leather chairs. Jessica picked them out, and we were worried that they would be too small for the house. So we got the bigger ones, and they're big. These are big. They're big. Well, they're in the new studio where I will have guests. Not quite yet. We're still building it. It's a process. But, oh, shit. This is the Operator Podcast. I forgot to mention that. I think this is episode 147 of the Operator, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good one. It's again, one of those things. I do have notes. Not sure how close I'm going to follow them, but I have once in a while. Lots going on. Don't know where we're going to go with this. It's kind of nuts out there. I yesterday when I woke up, Jessica said, "Have you seen this yet?" And she showed me, and I guess, and I didn't know this. I haven't been extremely active on social media. I got other shit going on, and I'm almost 50. Social media is fun. I enjoy it. I've been kind of busy on @MickHooyah, which is MCHOOYAH, which is the account that I run. On my stories, because what I like to do is I like to find a good solid funny reel, and then just go through that and giggle my fat little ass off, and then I like to share them on my stories and see if you like them. They've been fun lately. I've been doing that, but I haven't been paying attention to what's going on. And I have my team run most of my social media, just so you're aware that when you're yelling at me, you might be yelling at my pregnant wife. You might be yelling at people that are actually smarter than me that run my social media. The messages don't get to me. Well, they will get to me if they're good enough. Like good enough meaning when we talk about the Operator Podcast, you being an operator, me being a former operator, when you bring up good points, they are brought to me. I don't want to sound like we don't see them. We definitely see them, and they are brought to me. I just don't monitor them every day. I'm working on some other shit. The new website, robertjoneil.com, the new one is out again, which is great. And that has links to the Operators Collective, which is my new company that will bring, you know what? We can bring anything. We are giving keynote speeches and fireside chats, Q&A type stuff, stories, shit like that any speaking agency can give. But also, we can offer so much stuff. We're still working through it. We're actually meeting, the bunch of us getting together. Former SEAL Team 6 guys, former Marine Medal of Honor recipient, Dakota Myers there, Navy SEALs, jiu-jitsu people, combatives, blue-collar guys. So we're thinking about stuff we can offer. Kind of leaving it to the client almost. I mean, tell me your thoughts at the Operator Podcast, what you think we should, because we've come up with cool, like we could do mini buds, mini SEAL training, Hell Week, mini Hell Week. It's all got to be mini. I can't have you guys coming off your couch after badmouthing me and crushing Hell Week. Don't need that shit. It's kind of a SEAL's claim to fame. Hell Week's fun. Hell Week's the one that starts on Sunday and ends on Friday, where you don't sleep. You sleep a little, starting Wednesday, maybe 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there. I was thinking cool shit too, because of how crazy the world's getting now. It'd be kind of cool. We have the capability to come to your house and teach you how to clear it. Like if you're going to need to know how to defend yourself soon. I hope you know how. But you should have ways in your house to defend yourself. And that would mean hearing something go bump in the night. Ideally, your alarm not going off because no one's there. But ideally, you do have an alarm system in case someone comes in, it does go off. Because weird shit's coming, man. There's some stuff coming. What I'm saying is we possess the capabilities of teaching you how to get to your weapon and then how to get to places you need to, which are obviously your primary is even ahead of yourself as your kids. Got to protect your kids. How do you get to them? What's here? How do you hard point? Shit like that. Operators Collective is on my new website as well under speaking. But check out robertjoneil.com. Pretty dope. I'm happy with it. I haven't updated my site in a while. But that's what I've been working on. I don't have time to bicker. There's been bickering going on, which is the point I was getting at. When I woke up yesterday, my wife said, look at this. And she showed me that I guess I joined Antifa while I was sleeping. Did you see that? Antifa. I guess I'm there. I'm because there's been a masked guy who's been getting interviewed on, I think on Fox mainly. Jesse Waters interviewed this dude, and he's masked because he's trying to protect his identity. I think if you've been working close with people and you just put a mask over your face but not your eyes and eyebrows, they're going to know who you are. I'd imagine wearing a mask so other people just can't pick you out or something. But yeah, dudes have been saying that's me. I guess he resembles me. It's a shit. At this point, it could be Brad Pitt under that mask if it resembles me, right? Right. So yeah, but they said it's me, and because I worked at Fox News for 2 years, I was a contributor at Fox. I'm not a contributor now. No hard feelings, whatever. But I haven't been on Fox in a while. And they're just saying because I worked at Fox and because obviously Fox is the devil, which everyone on the left says, then it's got to be me in a mask. And I'm talking to Jesse Waters because I've infiltrated Antifa and I'm giving you the goods because they're not that bad. Well, what I'm getting hate on now is they're not that bad. I'm making them look bad. It's me spreading the shit. And then also I'm getting hate from get a load of this, from liberal white dudes, no shit, giving me hate. Because they're former Antifa and they are that bad, but that's why I've joined them and Fox has infiltrated. And I don't know. That's what it is. White liberals, though. You know what? The powers that be, the algorithms that are around about, and the stuff like that, how they're all about divide and conquer. The communists want you to divide and conquer. And so they do that. And you'll notice on your feeds, you're going to be seeing that too. Whichever side of the spectrum you're on, you're going to see the side that you're supposed to hate, mobbing someone, beating someone up, talking shit or whatever, so that you hate them more and they hate you more, and that's what they're trying to do. But I'm starting to notice a lot of the white liberals are they're stirring it up. That's the people that hate me. So Antifa, Portland, that's so odd. It's out, and by the way, too, and again, keep in mind now we're kind of tap dancing on a thin line there because liberal that gets thrown around a little too loosely. I think the true liberals are not crazy. They're someone with whom you can disagree and have a debate, but they're not going to dox you. It's the lefties, the commies, the socialist communists turned into fascists, and they're coupled with the radical jihadis. For some weird reason, that they always link up in history. It's the lefties, but so not liberals. When I say some of the white liberals are a problem, yeah, when they start to get too far left, yeah, they turn into a problem. Like up Portland. Look, I got some heat this summer because I said something about my hometown of Butte, Montana, because they think they're Democrats in Butte, Montana, because their grandparents were miners and they were in the unions back when unions were for the worker, not like these pieces of shit in the teachers union like Randy Weingarten and people like that who just fucking suck for a living. Real unions, so they were real Democrats that, all about the working man, blue collar shit, miners. But now they're still Democrats in Butte, Montana, but not the Democrats that are Democrats today. And if you tell me that the Democrats in D.C. right now are normal, fuck you. No, they're not. And they don't have a leader, and they're horrible. And they're just like Chuck Schumer's gone. Pelosi's sticking around just because, you see the leadership coming up. What happened with I'm going off on a tangent. What happened with the left is they let the crazies in. They didn't put a leash on them, and now the wild ones are there. They're kicking the Schumers and the Pelosi's out, and you got Jazzy Crockett, and I stole that from Jesse Waters. Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman Crockett, and like AOC, she's making a presidential run, but she's so powerful in the Democrat Party now. She's the one turning old Chuck Schumer crazier left, and he's a loon anyway. He's a guy that doesn't know how to grill a burger. But she's threatening him with a primary, so he's got to go further left to fight Donald Trump, because that's all they do. They don't have ideas. They're just fighting Trump, and then she's going to run for president next. And I don't think she doesn't have the weird shit. We know what happened in 2020, stuff like that. But what I'm getting at is the left has gone so far left that the shit that I got was I said that basically, I forget the quote, I don't really care, but it's the Butte Democrats, they have, people in Butte, Montana have much better values than these crazies on the left in D.C. And I said, you just got to question, obviously my liberal douchebag hometown newspaper, I'm not even going to mention their name, they spun it into an article that I hate my hometown, blah, blah, blah. But there's the point I'm getting to. If you're a Democrat and you don't like the way I'm talking and you think the Democrats are right, what I would love you to do, and if I know you, I'll send you there. I want you to go live in Portland for a week. That's what I want you to do. If you're a Democrat and you just hate Trump and just love the Democrat policies, I want you to move to Portland and see what that liberal shit will eventually get you. Portland is fucking lost. It's gone. And it's because of left policies. Look at the entire Pacific Northwest. Start at San Francisco and roll on up, and that's what you get. Drugs, homelessness, crime, chaos, Chaz, just militants. They're at a point now where if you go into a public restroom, with say your kid, I've got kids, they have to potty a lot. They're recommending, well, first of all, what I'd recommend as a parent is don't bring your fucking kids to Portland or Seattle or anywhere like that. Other than, unless you're into stepping in human poo and needles. But some of these druggies are going into public restrooms and they're cleaning their used dirty needles in the big public industrial sized toilet paper rolls, where they're sticking their needle in the side of that and just cleaning their dirty shit off their STD infested fentanyl friggin' syringe and just jabbing it in there to clean it off. So then their dirty ass blood is on that, and then you're raw dogging it with your a-hole. That's a good way to get a lot of bad shit. Anyway, go to Portland, see if you like it. See if you're lefty loving everyone that you say your tolerant policies have done. They destroy places, and that's what they do. So that was the point there. I mentioned the Antifa thing, and Butte. The point I was getting at there. Yes, Montana Standard sucks, but you're not a Democrat anymore. And I'm not saying you're a Republican either. I'm not a Republican. But you're not a Democrat. Don't just follow them because there's a D. And don't follow them because there's an R by the name either. Think for yourself. Here's what I want you to do. Now I'm talking to I love how they say it, all my friends on the other side of the aisle. You're not your fucking friend either, by the way. I'm talking to the people, like right now with the Republicans. Let me give you a quick breakdown of what's going to happen. I cannot believe we're getting political. I cannot believe I'm getting political right now. Here's what's going to happen. Republicans are weak as fuck. They don't do anything. What they do is they win. If they win the White House, then they win the House, and then they win the Senate. So they've got them all, and then they don't do shit, and they don't arrest anybody, and then they blah, 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 and the government shuts down like it is right now, and then they get to the midterms, they lose the House, and they say, well, if we just get all three back, we can do stuff. Well, you fucking had it for 2 years. And I'm not even saying they're going to lose the House, but historically, the party in power in the White House loses the House. Now, though, because of recent events, I think the only way the Democrats have a chance to win anything is by cheating, which they do a lot. But we'll see. We'll see. That's the political shit. I hate getting into it because just the government shut down. Is it? That's what they're saying. Well, here's the thing about the government shutdown too. All non-essential personnel should stay at home. Don't go to. Well, fuck. You're non-essential. Why do you have a job? Fire them all. The government shut down. Everyone who's not at work, fire them all now. And by the way, the ATF, the EPA, just shit can those entire departments. I'm saving you money as you listen here because it's all worthless. It's all the same bullshit over and over. And then somewhere in there, the deep state has their blackmail on everyone in power. And then that's why nothing happens. Remember the Epstein list? Never going to see that. Why? Someone's got something on someone, don't they? So that's how that works. Just go to Portland, go to Seattle. They're all shit. We can save Seattle. Portland's lost. Portland's like basically France. You're fucked. Just fucked. Only in France. You know what? I'm not even going to make fun of people. I'm in too good of a mood. But yeah, I'm in Antifa, and that doesn't make me happy. Butte, Montana, you are not Democrats. So just listen up and listen good. Bill Foley, I hope you're listening. You're not a Democrat. I just texted you, by the way. too. We get some shit to settle. It's all good. I love Bill Foley. He was on here a while back too. A couple things to get into. We're going to do that. I need to mention Mando, the sponsor of the show. I always talk about Mando, and you love me if you didn't, because I know you're a stinky son of a bee, and you're going to need some Mando in your life, because fall is here. Crisp air. It's cool football. Some bonfires. You're out there barbecuing, whatever. But if you're like most guys, not all guys, most guys put in hard work. If you're a non-essential worker, you should get some too, because you're a stinky. But it means sweat, working hard, and don't let the body armor put you on the sidelines. Mando deodorant plus sweat control is for real working guys. It's formulated to stop odor before it starts, and it doesn't mask the odor with overwhelming fragrances, even though when I put it on, my wife immediately notices, and we'll talk about those benefits at another moment in time. So when you're doing anything from cooking, barbecuing, or tailgating, you can do it with confidence. You don't need to mask it. You can Mando it. And I've told you about those benefits. This stuff is a clinical strength sweat control. One swipe, you're good to go. That almost rhymes. That's a damn good note. And this isn't your typical deodorant. This is clinical strength, 2 times better at controlling sweat than the standard. It controls both sweat and odor for up to 72 hours after you use it. And Under Armour sweat is basically gone for 12 hours after the first time you put it on. Deodorant re-engineered to stop odor, like I said before, it starts, and it doesn't mask the odor. Premium ingredients, unlike any other deodorant, is that's loaded with chemicals. Mando uses only premium stuff, like gentle mandelic acid. Mandelic, get it? Mando. And it's all-day protection that keeps you fresh and dry. Double protection. These are my notes. I'm sorry about that. Tackles both sweat and odor. Mando's new deodorant plus sweat control solid stick gives you the double protection that you need. Sweat and odor, you got this. And because you heard it here, our listeners, we have an offer for you. New listeners. So pay attention. Get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code. That code is The Operator when you go to shopmando.com. Shopmando.com. Use code The Operator for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. shopmando.com. Shopmando.com. And you can support the show when they ask you why you're no longer stinky because you have their product and where you heard of Mando. It was from the Operator podcast. So seriously, go over there right now. Shopmando.com. Use code The Operator, 20% off site-wide. I mentioned earlier about the white liberals too, and I think liberals it's used too much because initially it's not a bad thing. It's like a not quite libertarian, but it's more of a it's more letting people do what they want as long as you're not hurting someone, which is libertarian, I guess. And liberals are like, we disagree with classic liberals. I know a lot of classic liberals, and I'm buddies with them. Like, you disagree on stuff that they're just dumb about, like guns, stuff like that. The gun control doesn't work. I mean, you should have guns now too. If at any moment you're pro 2A, it's now. You better be. Like the UK, if you're listening in the UK too, you've proven. Good job, by the way, in England especially, but the United Kingdom. That once you give up your Second Amendment, you quickly lose your First Amendment. They don't have the amendments there, but you quickly lose both. No more freedom of speech, no more guns, and they're doing everything to you. The digital ID is coming, Sharia law is coming, and no one can defend themselves. Conor McGregor can't run in Ireland because you need, again, it's like a loophole. You need something like the Supreme Court's something. I didn't look this up, but you need something, and you're not going to get that shit. Like unanimous support somewhere, you're not going to get it because they've embedded themselves. It's like appointed judges that are stopping the president now. That's there's a separation of powers there that you can't do that. They're doing it, and don't think that's by mistake. Don't think that a lot of these people didn't put judges in place for times just like this. Yeah, the classic liberals they want gun control. I don't know who in their right fucking mind thinks gun control works. It's just the most ridiculous argument ever. The guns are fine. The guns are safe. It's the people. It's the intent. Knives are safe. Shit, we didn't really hear about random knifings until a certain group started rolling in. They left their shithole country and started rolling into the West. If you have bad intent, anything's a weapon. It's almost like, what's that funny meme? Anything's a dildo if you're brave enough. Hey, someone else's words, not mine. But yeah, the classic liberals, we can sort of, you can get along. You can have a comfortable conversation. You don't need to worry about getting assassinated. You don't need to worry about getting doxxed and having people show up at your house. But what's her name? There's a congresswoman in Oregon, if you can imagine, Maxine Dexter. I think she's a doctor too. She was one that was out there. She's probably a likable person. She's a fucking doctor. How could she be so goddamn dumb? But she was the one that says, I don't like to swear in public, but something they bleep her out. And she's just very awkward. And then she was leading a protest. They were singing "This Land Is Your Land. This land belongs to all of us," that song. And they're always singing some stupid stuff, but they went down the line of these people. They were all white liberals in their, I'm saying mid-70s. So we're talking like Vietnam era people who would protest in Vietnam where they got nothing better to, and they're in Portland. So who knows? Like a lot of NGOs are paying these people to show up and protest. Not everybody disagrees with this stuff, but they're getting paid. Plus, if you're in Portland, man, you do what you got to do because that's a shithole again. That's a third world nation now. It sucks. Even though the mayor will walk around and tell you how safe it is. You know, they clear those areas first, and they tell you how safe it is, and they walk hand in hand. And then hours later, it's back to, the zombies, the people that take the fentanyl and freeze up. That's just some ridiculous stuff that's going on out there. It doesn't make sense to me. Like and are we at a point where it is that bad in person that you can't have a talk? Like if you try to talk now, again, not in person, but if you try to talk, if you see people try to talk to each other, like at some of these paid protests and whatnot, it's just screaming people down from the left, screaming you down, no answers. Yelling, screaming, noise in your face. I was watching a video. Am I the only one that gets happy when the protesters in ISIS face and they just get a blast up the snout of some kick-ass bear spray? That makes me, I'm happy about that. If you're the type of person, I don't care if you're getting paid, if you need to get in another person's face like that, especially a federal officer, and start screaming, and you take a good shot of pepper spray in the jibs, that's funny to me. I think it's great. You deserve that. I think a lot of these protesters are people that were never told no their entire lives. Certainly never been in a fight, never been punched. You don't see a lot, sometimes you will, but you don't see a lot of tough guys acting that way because they're tough guys and they don't need to act that way. It's a screaming, whining trophy for everything people that are now adults. I mean, again, I don't want to broad brush stroke it because I know there's good people everywhere. But man, there's a lot of these entitled people who've been taught they're victims their whole lives. I mean, can we recover? I tell my kids this now too. The reason I tell you the stuff with which you disagree is because I don't want my granddaughters, your kids, putting on their burqas when they're 5 years old saying dad or granddad was right. I don't want that shit. And the drip, 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 it slowly seeps in and radicals on the left don't see this stuff coming. I was watching an interview with the son of one of the Hamas leaders, the Hamas leader, and I forgot his name. It's there somewhere. And he was just saying, yeah, Hamas laughs at these people. The Queers for Palestine, they literally call them useful idiots. And Hamas admits they will torture and kill these people if we ever meet them. And they're out there holding up Queers for Palestine. The left is all, we're letting Hamas onto campuses. It's got to be paid. What is it? Why are they doing that? I'm trying to make sense of it. I think the internet hasn't done us many favors, and we're also finding out that artificial intelligence is lying. They're lying to us a lot. Isn't that fun? I hope they are too. I hope a whole classroom in college writes a paper and they all got lied to by AI because they all cheated. That'd be kind of cool too. And the only thing better than that is if you lie with AI, turn in a test, get an F, and then the professor is required to hit you with bear spray. Anyway, I remember Charlie Kirk always saying that he went to college and realized it was a waste of time. Is it a waste of time? What do they learn? I got a couple kids in college right now, and they seem normal to me. What are they doing when I'm not looking, though? That's the thing. But yeah, is this that bad? Is it real like that? Because the internet's not. The internet shows us different stuff, and it makes you believe stuff that's not real. On that too, there's another podcast. See, I don't know a lot of the stuff that's going on. I've been known to get in there and troll a little bit. It's fun to me. I do like to troll once in a while, just put stuff out there. But and you know what is fun to do too? Send out Send out a coded message about something and just see who bites. About any, I've done it a bunch too, where you mention something and you're kind of, you're not to the point. You just kind of blandly throw out an insult to someone and then you see who thinks you're talking about them. Hilarious. My wife, again, Jessica, God bless her, she finds stuff on the internet and she tells me about fights that people are having with me. Stuff that I said about them, and then they're fighting and they're making it their mission to what, and I have no idea who these people are. And some of them are podcast hosts, and it's absolutely hilarious. Because they're, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are podcasts out there that are getting smoked now. That's too bad. You know what? Some of these podcasts too that are out there and they're not getting followers or any views anymore, you might want to consider a line of work. You might get a jobby job. Shit, you just get in touch. If you hate me and you think I'm fighting with you and I'm not, just get however Jessica's getting these messages to me, hit her up and see if I need to hire you. I'm not going to hire you. Yeah, but it's just the internet's crazy and just shit that's happening. People fighting. I don't think it's real. I don't think that happens in person, but it does online. But yeah, just when I wake up in the morning and I find out that I joined Antifa and I'm apparently in a spat with a podcaster, I have no idea who they are. It's interesting. But this is the Operator Podcast, and everyone's welcome here. So I'm glad you're listening as an operator. We're going to get into just some other stuff that I do. There's so much wackiness going on with Congress being closed, yet still getting paid. You're still paying taxes. I don't buy that as a government shutdown. I think most of the government, I've mentioned this before, they should be shut down anyway. Because that's the problem too, is we were never supposed to be a big government, but now not only are there politicians that want bigger government because they get more power and they get more money because they trade insiderly, but then they convince people, the victims, the ones I was talking about, that they need the government to live their lives. So you just depend on us. It's the whole own nothing and be happy type shit. And people vote for that because, well, I love what I'm getting for free. And it's not free, by the way. Someone else is paying for it, and then they're going to leave eventually. You're just setting yourself up for failure by being a victim. But that's what I'm just amazed that people get so much free shit and then they bitch at everyone else and they start calling names about their oppression. It's like, what are you talking about? And then they complain like with the government. I personally don't care the shutdown. I think it's funny. But when are they going to stop paying people? And when are people going to start getting arrested that broke the law? As someone who's had a mugshot or two, there is free speech, but there can be consequences, right? maybe not. But it's almost fascinating, and I really want to hear your opinions on this. Because when you go to war at any time, nobody thinks they're the bad guy. Everyone thinks they're noble. Like, I mean, yesterday was the October 7th, 2-year anniversary of that horrific attack, and Hamas thinks they're on the right side. They think going in and slaughtering people and eating the breakfast they were cooking for their kids on a holiday is noble, and they call their parents and brag about how many people they killed with their hands. They think they're right. We think we're right. When we fought Al-Qaeda, they thought they were right, and the Taliban knew they were right. Right now, the Houthis and Al-Shabaab, they know they're right. And all the Christians getting murdered, the people murdering them, we don't talk about them. It wouldn't, if there's genocide of Christians, which there is going on right now in Africa, you'd think there'd be college kids protesting. Don't they love protesting genocides? I thought they did. You got to be on the right side. That's the point I'm making, though, is everyone thinks they're justified and they think they're moral. I thought we were the good guys the whole time too, right? And I've talked about before, why was this decision made? Why was that made? There is evil out there. Do they know they're evil? Right? I mean, I just mentioned October 7th, and you got to ask about that too. Why did it take 6 hours to respond? Who's making decisions and why? Are they sacrificing people because they think they're noble, or what's going on? I think these are all valid questions. Does anyone know they're evil? Like, even people that are evil, are they possessed, or are they just narcissistic sociopaths, which I've seen? Anyway. just food for thought. But you got to hit me up with the Operator Podcast. Hit my team up at the Operator Podcast, and I will respond accordingly. And I would like to take a moment of your time to tell you about the sponsor of this show. I've talked about HexClad before, and I want to mention it again now because fall is here. You're in the thick of it, and you know what that means. It's getting cooler, but it can get hotter in your kitchen. Football weekends are here all weekend long. You got Monday night, Thursday, and all that stuff. And the weather's getting chilly, so it's time for comfort food, and you should find flavors that you can make your own. And I've got it for you right here. Because if the pans you have right now warp at the first sign of extreme high heat, you deserve better. And like I said, I'm here to tell you about it. This is HexClad, HEXCLAD. This is the cookware that is as serious about performance as you are about the temperature of your meat. These aren't traditional non-stick pans. HexClad gives you the perfect sear that you want. They're also ridiculously durable, and they clean up easier than changing a diaper. And you don't have to handle these pans like a baby because they're very, very versatile. And I know because I have both the pans and I got the babies. Oh, and they look sexy as hell. The pans look sexy as hell on your stovetop with the stainless steel, which is the way to go. Toxin-free. And I might have mentioned they're actual non-stick. HexClad 6-piece and 12-piece sets take the guesswork out of cooking. Whether you're starting fresh or you're leveling up, the bundles they have, the 6-piece and 12-piece, they cover every dish, every craving, every crowd that you have at your house. I personally like to host people, and these are the best pans the only pans I have, but the best ones I've ever had. The kind of upgrade that transforms your kitchen from good enough to how did I ever cook without these pans? They are that incredible. Plus, every HexClad product is backed by a lifetime warranty. Lifetime. You're not just investing in better tools, you're setting the tone for seasons of cooking to come. Game days are coming. It's time to upgrade your kitchen before hosting seasons. Everything there, the playoffs, whatnot, they kick into full gear. And you can get 10% off of these kick-ass pans at hexclad.com. HEXCLAD.com. And then use code THEOPERATOR. 10% off, and make sure your spread is as strong as your fantasy football lineup. Hexclad.com. Use code THEOPERATOR, 10% off. Now, this is a story that troubles me, and I'm not going to joke about this one because I don't fully understand what happened. But there was a fatality in Tennessee during a tandem skydive. And the guy who died, his name was Justin Robert Fuller. And he was an experienced tandem instructor. He jumped at a place called Skydive Tennessee for, I think, a number of years. They had like a crash, a minimum crash, like after takeoff where they had to come back down, I guess, hard landing. In quotes, it says experienced an unknown issue that resulted in an impact on the trees and terrain. So it looks like this is not the fatality. This is a little while back. And everyone, he had like a minor injury and whatnot, and everyone walked away. Okay, there's some minor injuries, but what Fuller did, the instructor who eventually died, he wrote on his social media, "I've had a ton of y'all reach out and ask if this changes my plan for my lifestyle moving forward. The answer is a resounding hell no. I love the sport. I love the lifestyle it has given me, and I love the people way too much to leave this behind. I've always known there's a chance that something like this could happen. It could happen again. All we can do is strive to make this sport as safe as possible and keep learning from events such as these. I will continue to be a catalyst for safety and make sure me and those around get to enjoy the amazingly unique sport for a very long time." So that is what Fuller said after that accident. And he was, skydiving is very regulated and it's not as dangerous as you think. Free fall is not as dangerous as you would think. There's a lot of safety precautions, multiple checks of all of your gear. And even if your parachute malfunctions, there's a reserve that's packed differently than your main is packed, and it's going to open. It just, like, fatalities now don't happen because your parachute didn't open. They happen usually because inexperienced jumpers get too cocky and start jumping smaller canopies, believe it or not, because they want to go faster and get it's called a swoop. at the end of it when you pendulum in and then you swing and you swoop across the ground for a while. And some guys that are really good at this or really good skydivers can do that well. The problem is people get too cocky too fast to start lowering the square footage of their canopy. And then when there's certain things you can grab, certain risers and stuff to have a swing. But if you do it too low, then you just slam into the ground. That's how you usually die. And so that was kind of weird. So, we've had a couple of fatalities because we jumped all the time at SEAL Team 6, and we did have a couple of fatalities. One was with the bundle. The other one was just a horseshoe malfunction jumping equipment. And a horseshoe malfunction when you're skydiving is when a horseshoe is the most dangerous malfunction you can get without a bundle. And a bundle jump is you need to be a tandem instructor. A tandem jumper jumps another person strapped to the front. A bundle is like a 400 or 500 pound barrel that you strap to your chest with a 10-foot tether. So you got a barrel attached to you, and there's a parachute on the barrel. I've had to cut one of those away in a horrible malfunction I've talked about before. If you want me to revisit that, I will. I'm not going to do it today. But so a horseshoe is when your canopy deploys, and there's so many lines coming off. You got 2 sets of risers, and then there's lines connecting it. If one of the lines connecting your parachute to you wraps around a part of your body, or when you're jumping combat equipment, which would be a rucksack. Usually the way you jump a rucksack, according to Army regulations, the Army pretty much runs every show, especially air operations. SEAL Team 6, we were the better skydivers. Trust me, we got way, way better. But because we're using professional skydivers to teach us. I'm not getting into that. But when you're jumping combat gear, it's going to be your rucksack. It's probably between your knees, your legs, a big backpack. Then you're going to have a weapon. And with the Army, we jump it on our sides. At SEAL Team 6, we put it in front of us under an attack board. Not important. And then you sometimes have oxygen. So a lot of shit there that they can tangle with. And a horseshoe is going to be the worst one you're going to get, because if you have a parachute that is malfunctioning, but it's clear, the lines are clear, you can cut it away. And then that'll go away. And actually the way it's designed is there's a reserve static line that when that parachute gets cut, it goes away and the static line pulls a reserve for you. So even though it is a look, grab, pull, throw away, once you pull this, it should pop your reserve and you'll live. Civilian skydiving is slick. It's usually slick, wearing a sport rig, which is just a blast. And I know we're talking about a fatality here, but if you've never skydived in your life, do it. It's a life changer and it's incredible. It's very, very safe. But this is weird because this instructor, what really happened, what happened is odd. So Justin Robert Fuller is the instructor. He's the one that wrote that post about how he's never going to leave it and he loves it. And the skydive community is very, very tight, especially at a place like this, especially at the drop zone, because all the instructors know each other very well. A lot of them are on demonstration teams. They compete. There's all kinds of different ways you compete in skydiving. It's a great sport. It's a blast. It's so clean and fun, and the air is so pure. But a tandem, usually if there's a tandem fatality, both people die, because you have the instructor and then you have the student connected to you. And the way that works, and I'm a tandem instructor and a bundle master, you put on your canopy like everything else. So it's you get in your sit harness, which is your leg straps, and then you have like a belly band, and you got it over your shoulder like a backpack, and then you got these. You have these D rings that hold a shit ton of weight on your up here, and then you got some on the side. So you hook your passenger on these two, and then these two on the side. So you've got them connected to any one of these would hold the guy. Like if all three of the four blasted off, you're still going to have your guy. He's going to be dangly. He's going to be scared, but he is going to live, and he better fucking tip you when you get him off that, because that wasn't your fault. But what happened here, and this is weird. So this is a couple days later, and this guy's 35 years old, and he's got like 5,000 jumps. That's a good amount. And to be a tandem instructor, well, you call him an instructor because you're an instructor. You're the guy jumping. And even like, we used to mess with dudes like, because we'd jump on the weekends and shit too. And when you get like hungover college dudes that are like, that come in, I didn't say this, but I had a buddy say it too. The college kid was being cocky, and my buddy's a SEAL. He's pretty cocky. And he said, so why'd you come here? And the guy goes, oh, I've just always wanted to skydive. My buddy looked at him and goes, oh, make no mistake. You're not skydiving. I'm skydiving. You're just attached to me. Why don't you take the 10-hour course, and then we can jump both of our own parachutes? And he did. That's kind of funny. But the way I explain it is the students attached to the jump master, this tandem master, the instructor. And what happened here, I'm just getting the story, so I'm not trying to be funny. I want to get some help with this. I actually, when I read the story, I called some other guys that I jumped with at SEAL Team 6. Actually, I called a guy who was on the Bin Laden raid with me. And I just asked about this event. What do you think happened? Because the way this went down was they got to altitude, and you want to obviously, when you get in the plane, you could be strapped to your guy. You have your student on you, but you definitely want to be strapped to your guy before the door opens or the ramp lowers. In this case, they're jumping a door, which is a different exit. It's kind of fun, actually, because I think, yeah, it's fun. I jumped out of a P3 once. So the side door, that's a tough one because you smack into the side because the props are blasting. Not important. But they were good. They got to altitude, and the story is they got stuck on the side of the plane. And so they jumped. So this instructor, Fuller, and his student, 46-year-old dude, who's a student. So he's in front, and I think it's his first jump. He's never done it. This guy's got a lot of jumps, 5,000 jumps. And the story is they got stuck on the side of the plane. And then Fuller, the instructor, fell to his death with nothing on. And then they found the student in trees, and he was under a canopy, and they said, yeah, his reserve just popped, because you have these automatic actuators that we used to use a Cypress, or an FF2 was the old school Army one, but the Cypress, if you're at a certain altitude going a certain speed, it's just going to fire, meaning it's setting your reserve. And if, like I was saying with a horseshoe, you want that clear before you get a reserve out, because you don't want two chutes wrapping together. That's bad, obviously. But if you're at a point where you're going a certain speed at, I think it's 1,500, 1,200 feet, whatever. They fire at about 1,200 feet. If you're going that fast, 1,200 feet, I don't care how much canopy you have over, you want that reserve out. You need as much shit on there as you can get. You want as much silk out there to hopefully slow you down. And that could involve pulling. Like I had a buddy that used to say, if I burn in and you come out to see me dead on the drop zone, if everything, every D-ring, every ripcord, everything on me, my shoelaces aren't pulled, piss on me and leave me there, because you're going to do everything you can. But this dude, the instructor, fell with no parachute, and he landed in a field, and he's obviously dead. But the student was there, and he's stuck in the trees for 2 hours. The firefighters showed up and put like 4 ladders up to get him. So it's tragic. There's no doubt about it. But how in the shit did he fall without anything on? I mean, even when you land successfully in a tandem jump, like you land on your ass ideally, you can slide in like a baseball slide, your buddy's sitting there. It takes a minute to get them out of their shit, and they're just wearing a harness with nothing but hooks on it. They got hooks here and little hooks here. That's it. There's no reserve parachute on a rig. Am I wrong now? I haven't jumped in a while. Do they have something new where the tandem, you can cut away your student? I mean, I could cut away a bundle. I've done that once. That was scary as shit. But you don't cut away your student. And if you do, or if you could, he's not wearing your parachute. And the way it works too is the instructor's wearing, and this is with sport rigs too, when you're jumping by yourself, the main parachute's on the bottom of the backpack and the reserve's on the top. So when the main comes out, if it doesn't work, you pull that and the reserve's on top. But the instructor's wearing both of them. The student's got nothing but, I've been the passenger. When I went to the tandem course, you have to be the passenger also. And that just feels weird. There's nothing for you to do. You're just kind of hanging out there with your thumbs and your whatnot, picking your nose and shit. But you got nothing on you. You have what he's wearing. That's it. So for a guy who's a tandem master with 5,000 jumps, falls to his death wearing nothing, that sounds fishy to me. That sounds, unless there's a different way to connect and you can have your student wearing a reserve suit with a Cypress, with an automatic actuator. How does that happen? How does one guy live in the trees and one guy dies with nothing on him? It sounds like he just fell out of the plane with no parachute, right? And the other guy, I'm not making light of this. I'm not starting a conspiracy. But that's just not normal to me. I got a lot of jumps. I didn't have as many as this dude either. Huh. I'm going to try to find out. If you know anything, hit up the Operator Podcast. Hit up McHooyah with this one too. I want to know if anyone knows anyone, because that's just tragic. And this dude, like this dude Fuller used to train military dudes. They're there in Nashville, so you got TF-160 right up the road. You got 101st Airborne right there at Campbell. You got skydivers. Like this dude works. He might have jumped with us. We used to bring in pro skydivers all the time to teach us how to work canopies and just nail exits. Like leaving an airplane that's flying at 130 knots, 125 knots. You got to know what you're doing, because it's everything in skydiving is the opposite of, like, if you fall out of bed and put your hand down to catch yourself, that's fine. Do that in the air, you're going to go the other way. It's opposite world up there. And for someone to fall, like the only two people I know who've fallen and lived out of a plane without a parachute were Travis Pastrana and Luke Aikens. Pastrana, that fucking video. I wish I was smart enough to have it playing right now. Travis Pastrana is a Red Bull guy. Just complete stud. I know the dude. I love that guy. He's got a video where he's pretending to sleep in a plane. He chugs a Red Bull and he jumps out wearing nothing but like UDT catch me, fuck me shorts. And other guys jump behind him and like they put some harness on him and then they pull with him. Luke Aikens, stud. He's another Red Bull guy. Basically, if anyone's doing a sport and they have anything that says Red Bull on them, they're really fucking good at what they do. So Luke Aikens is great, dude. Funny guy. Fantastic dude. Follow him. I got to get him on here. He was one of our instructors when we would go out to Arizona. He's a big jumper, but he's the guy that jumped from 25,000 feet and no parachute, and no one hooked into him, and he landed in that net that was like 100 feet by 100 feet. That's badass. I don't care who you are. Look those up too right now. Travis Pastrana, no parachute. Luke Aikens, Akins, no parachute. Badass videos. You're going to thank me. But I do want to get to the bottom of this skydiver that I want to know what happened there. That sounds shady.
So what I want to try to do is just break down what is happening. I am not a lawyer. I think I have a degree in TikTok, like most of us, or social media or whatever, because that's where a lot of people get their news nowadays too, is TikTok. Be careful of that. And also be careful with getting your news from AI. You want to make sure you verify. Trust but verify. Don't even trust, just verify. Because a lot of misinformation is out there. The AI stuff we're finding out is lying to us just because of, it's not the computer's fault until they turn into Terminator and destroy us all, and then all of a sudden we're time traveling to try to find the person who leads the resistance. Actually, the person who leads the resistance is probably in Portland, even though, whatever. But I'm seeing now too that you can't even trust the media anymore, because the media is part of whatever they do call resistance, and they have it's you're seeing it again with the mostly peaceful protest bullshit. You're seeing guys from the New York Times walking through like a shaded area under a tree in Portland, like visibly afraid to go anywhere else, saying, "Oh, look how safe it is," loudly. look at the way I'm, like, he's reading a cue card that's telling him how to act, and he's completely afraid, but he's trying to show you. It's like the dude standing in front of the burning city, mostly peaceful protest. That's not bullshit. You're not getting the truth from the media. And I think we're getting back into echo chamber type shit, because I know a lot of people that only like will watch one news station, or they will get media from one source, and that's wrong. That's it's like being on The View, where you have 5 people at a table that all agree on the same shit, and then they talk trash, and then you got the cackling hens in the audience who are screaming, and they have the applause signs everywhere because they don't know when to clap. Even when Whoopi Goldberg is saying, did you see what she was saying about when the Super Bowl's here, and during the halftime show, they're going to, ICE is going to be walking around, Kristi Noem's going to be walking around the Super Bowl and arresting. Sorry, my printer just went off. I want to see what it's doing over there. I'm by myself in the studio, and the printer started going off. It's like, well, welcome back, Satan. But they're saying that Kristi Noem's going to be walking around the Super Bowl arresting people at the halftime show because it's going to be in Spanish. They're all going to be illegals. And Whoopi Goldberg was saying, yeah, just put some bronzer on your face and get some sun, and then walk around and start talking to people in a Mexican accent so you can confuse them. And that, I mean, I'm not going to touch that necessarily, because we're getting in the whole blackface type thing, which is obviously bad now. And like, even though when she was dating Ted Danson, Sam Malone from Cheers, and he put on blackface, and famously went to an event with her, which is weird itself. I was watching Gutfeld last night, and Kat Timpf, who's hilarious. I know Kat really well and her husband. She said something about, can you imagine like that word coming? This is a great joke. Not my joke, her joke. Brilliantly written. Kat, good job. She said, can you imagine if like they put that out, Whoopi Goldberg put that out, and then everyone hears it, to tan your face and start speaking with an accent, but only one guy did it. Like one white guy shows up with a tan face, and people ask him what he's doing, and he says back to them in a Mexican accent, "Oh, I'm doing this for the migrants." And Whoopi Goldberg, and she says something like, "They're going to put that guy in a hospital." But the point I was making is like at the View, and again, I've said it before, they're getting pretty crazy, and I disagree with a lot of shit they say, but I think they've been funny in the past. I know me personally, the older I get, like the more pissed off I think I get, or the more annoyed. I think they're getting there too. It's like the whole life's a pie, your whole life's a pie, and then the further you get into it, you start cutting the pieces smaller, so you just get more angry. I'm going with that anyway. I don't watch The View. I haven't in a while. I probably couldn't get through it, but anyway, you don't want to sit in an echo chamber is what I'm getting at, because you're just going to get the same bullshit. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to learn. Like, the way to learn is through debate and talking to people with whom you disagree. But some people just insist on being right and then getting very emotional, because that's what we're teaching people. Get emotional, start screaming and throwing fits and throwing chairs at McDonald's and getting in a fight in Waffle House. Well, Waffle House has a pretty good track record of fighting all the time, so I'm not going to badmouth them. Plus, scattered, covered, smothered, chunked, chopped, diced, and peppered. Let's get some hash browns up in this piece. But yeah, so trust your sources. Get good different sources. It's kind of like running intel sources. Like, ask one person one thing, or get one website one place, but verify it. That's why I have older encyclopedias at home. I get older books, even when I buy classics. I just bought Frankenstein the other day. I want to buy an original version from it, at least the 80s. Because I don't want someone tampering with it, because it might offend some moron with what is said. I mean, you need to know what happened so you don't repeat it. If something's never happened before, because they told you it never happened, you're just going to do it again. You're seeing it now. And it's just, I talked about it earlier. I don't want to get into it now, but they're lying. The left is lying about immigration, and it's been going on for a long, long time. But the immigration law was actually, our immigration law, even though it's probably been updated, is from 1952. So when that law came out, President Truman was in office, and he actually vetoed this immigration law that it's still there. It's the one we're supposed to be following. And he vetoed it because he thought it gave precedence to certain countries, which it probably did. If you can imagine, Congress has reasons to favor certain people. So he vetoed this law in 1952, but Congress had to override it, which they did, which you can do, which is checks and balances, which, in the 50s, at least we might have had that. But that law's been there. It's still there now. But the issue that we're having now, and I'm going to be honest, is the Biden administration wouldn't enforce the laws that have been on the books for 70 whatever years. And again, it's the administration, because we don't even know who is making, you can think about it, and you can figure out who's actually in charge and what they want to do. Because whenever you hear the term reimagine, I want your spidey senses to go up, because someone far, far left wants to reimagine your ass into a constant re-education camp, and they've said that too. But the Biden administration would not enforce this, and the borders were open for 4 years, and that's why I get so pissed off too, because ISIS is here, and so is Al Qaeda. Al Qaeda, I think, is more dangerous than ISIS, but they're here. So there's sleeper cells from Iran here. We'll see what happens there, but the open borders were bad for a number of reasons, and the borders were open. We got 15 million, 20 million in between there. Here, and all they know during the Biden administration, all you have to do is, once you cross the border, what you're supposed to do is cross the border, and you can, at a port of entry, you can claim asylum. And all the people crossing know that if you get caught, claim asylum. Cartels told them to do that because, and a lot of the migrants, they're in a really bad pickle, because they're getting escorted, if you will, across by the coyotes from the cartels, and it's not good shit, because we're talking bad stuff. And even like the prostitution that's gotten really shitty all over major cities, because you need to keep running tricks until you can pay for your families that have been held hostage. Not good, but the incentive is because our borders are open, cartels are making a bunch of money. It's a bad place all around, but they told them that, and So they claim asylum, they go to a place, and then the Biden administration releases them. That's where you hear the term catch and release. So they release them, and then guess who pays for their travel all across the country? You do. Your taxpayer dollars sends millions of people. And what they were doing, if you don't like this, I don't really care. They're busing and flying illegal immigrants to red states, red cities. Why? Well, because they want to change the map so they can get more districts again because they want more power in Washington, D.C. They don't give a shit about you. I've got friends that are saying, yeah, taxes are too high, my job's not paying enough, I can't find work or whatever. Well, guess what? That's because too many goddamn people have a job that they're going to get paid cheaper under the table. It just works that way. If small businesses or homeowners want to hire someone cheaper for, better quality work. we should consider a lot of people giving them citizenship here. It's not even that bad. You got to figure out migrant families, the ones that you shouldn't be rolling up families and sending them places. There's got to be a way to get the criminals out, but play the long-term game. A lot of these working families coming up here, they're married with kids and Christian values. Not a bad crew to have when the jihad starts, right? When Sharia law is rolling in, which it will. I'll be long gone, so I don't really care. I hope you pay attention. But they release them, catch and release. They're paid. They're all over the place, and they're taking people's jobs. And you've seen places even like Chicago where the people who don't have the platform can't. It's hard for them to say, hey, our jobs are being taken here. These are minority communities. And guess why no one knows about that? Because the media won't tell you. Because it's not in their interest. Because they're in the pockets of the politicians. Because of power. Again, people on TV have power. Their producers have power. And they talk to the politicians. It's all a power grab. What it comes down to is that this is not for the people. It's not by the people, for the people, any of that stuff too. But you claim asylum, you get released, and then the judge says, all right, you got to just show up in 5 years for your hearing. And now they're not going to show up for their hearing. And even if they did, that's 15 million deportation case. A judge can't sign 15 million deportation orders, right? That's a lot to sign. In our days of billions and trillions, we forget that millions is a shitload of whatever you have. If you have 1 million donuts, good luck with your breakfast. It's a lot of damn donuts. But so Donald Trump ran on going to close the borders and get rid of the criminal aliens, which he's doing now. That's a new policy that he calls expedited removal. That's what's happening right now because the Democrats fucked you. The deep state fucked you. And so all the problems are coming up now again because the left doesn't want to do this. They don't want anyone removed, and we're going to stop you. This is an executive order, and it's saying, if we catch you, you're gone. That's how it's working. Now, the blue states are interfering, and we're saying this now, Chicago, Portland. It's going to happen in Massachusetts. Anywhere that's blue, Vermont, New Hampshire are pretty much socialist states, but that's because they can get away with it because they're small populations, the Bernie Sanders crowds. Good on them, man. If you're in a small community, you can be socialist, fucking kick ass. I'm sure it's awesome because you got a small amount. It won't work it doesn't work anywhere else. You're small. Some parts of Europe, it did work, but then they decided, well, let's just open our borders and let a bunch of people from valleys in Pakistan come in. I'm sure they won't get all rapey, which they do. They're interfering because why are the blue states interfering? Well, they don't like it is the easiest way to say it. They don't like it. So what do? They get all pissy. They start running around and throwing fits and calling people fascists. They love that. Nazis. Nazi. Then people, they throw, you call people Nazi enough and then all of a sudden violence comes in because the left is lying about what's happening and then you get people with mental illness who are killing people. Tell me it didn't happen. Tell me that doesn't happen. They tried to kill Donald Trump twice. There was that dude in Virginia saying he wants his opponent killed. He wants to see his wife watch their kids die in their mother's arms so you can feel the pain. That's kind of messed up. And then he said he'd go to their grave and piss on it. And that's Jay Jones, I think, in Virginia, run for AG, something like that. I had to look down for his name. But the Democrats are defending this. How are they not the party of violence if you're defending someone who says he wants to watch children die in their mother's arms? What kind of fucked up thought is that? I'm a father, man. I'd love to meet this dude. I would love to talk to him, that skinny little punk on his fucking phone, all tough. Jesus. But, they throw these fits. They're interfering. They don't like it. And then they're hindering a federal investigation. And the word's in the law. You're hindering an investigation. if you're preventing federal law enforcement from doing, because they have to step in. If the locals and the state won't do anything, the feds have to step in. If you're preventing the feds from doing their jobs, you're hindering, that's a crime. You're committing a crime. The governor of Illinois, the mayor of Chicago, probably the chief of police out in Portland, that's U.S. Code 1505, you can look it up. Trump has not arrested these guys, but he could. There you go with, you're walking a thin line on that one. Imagine if he starts arresting, but he could legally. In Chicago, there was a woman shot by ICE because they were hindering. And they're trying to surround ICE agents, and one woman got shot. She's in the hospital. I think she's in FBI custody now. But in Chicago, the cops were told to stand down. ICE agents, so they're getting bum rushed by vehicles, had to shoot someone because a vehicle's a weapon. Anything's a weapon. We talked about this earlier with some vulgar language. I'm pretty sure I said something. But the ICE agents in Chicago, because they're getting all riled up, and the media's spinning them up too, because a lot of people out there, they ain't that bright. The ones in charge might be. They know what they want to do. It's called anarchy. You've probably seen the shirts and seen the goddamn Che Guevara posters up in coffee shops. Probably great coffee. Liberals make great coffee. I'm here to put it out. And again, liberal, we need to reconsider, because liberals are not bad. Leftists are bad. So keep that in mind. But the chief of patrol, so ICE agents are now surrounded by mobs. The mobs are there because the media, the politicians create it. The politicians create it. They tell them, you got professional victims who have been taken advantage of their entire lives. Poor me. Everything's given to them, but they're victims. And ICE bad. Why? Well, because I was told that. That's pretty much it. You don't know why. The working people probably want all these illegals out of there. They don't like, in Denver, they don't like their apartments being overrun by illegal crime mobs, by cartels, but they are. And the left defends them. And tell me, I'm not lying to you. But these agents were surrounded by a mob. They started calling for help from the Chicago Police Department, right? And they've been corrupt since before Al Capone out there. But the chief of patrol, all units clear out. He ordered them. That's John Hein, H-E-I-N. John Hein, the chief of patrol. He said, everyone clear out, stand down. You cannot do that. That is hindering federal law enforcement and federal law. Here's my question. You got the chief of patrol, and then you got the chief of police, Larry Snelling, who's lying about this. It's a federal crime. He lied about it too. There's an audio out there of officers being told to stand down. Chief of patrol lied. Chief of police covered his ass. Larry Snelling covered his ass. These are all crimes. You are committing crimes, federal crimes. What are they going to do about it? Probably the same thing they've done about everything. Nothing. They're just, again, waiting for the midterms to see what the midterms. It's always about the elections. It's always about the midterms. Do I get to keep my job? There's a tape out there with officers being told to stand down. And the shitty thing is, because now the Supreme Court's going to need to interfere eventually. This is a constitutional issue that's happening here. So SCOTUS, the Supreme Court of the United States, needs to get involved with this, because as not to the extremes, but both parties are using this 1952 law to their advantage. For what? If you said political gain, you are correct. In 1963, there's a letter that then AG Robert F. Kennedy wrote to a senator in Louisiana calling for, there was obstruction in Alabama because I believe it's 9. I want to get my numbers right here, but there were 9 students trying to get into a school, and they couldn't because they were segregated. And at that point, you can send federal troops in. When the RFK called it obstruction, we're calling it. I'm not. I am today. I like that word, hinder. I remember the word hinder from playing racquetball with my mom, and she always kicked my ass. Sad to say, but she would do that. But then AG in 1963, RFK wrote a letter to Senator Alan Ellender, a Democrat from Louisiana, because they got to send federal troops, which they did. Like, how many did they send down there? It was, I should have written that down. When I need my notes, I don't have them here. But it was, I don't know how many it was. It was a lot of troops to go down there, and they're up in arms about it. So they're obstructing federal law. And the letter that RFK
said, I'm going to read this because I have it in front of me. There's a couple codes in there I'm not going to say, but this is precedent for what's happening now and why it's legal for the Trump administration to arrest people. When it appeared, this is the letter, when it appeared that the commands of said order, the order to let these the troops go into Alabama, had not been obeyed and the obstruction of justice was continuing, the president, his brother, JFK, on the same day issued Executive Order 11111, authorizing and directing the Secretary of Defense to take all appropriate steps to remove obstruction of justice in the state of Alabama. For this purpose, he was authorized and directed, inter alia, which is now basically all everywhere, to call into the active military service of the United States and use any or all of the units of the Army National Guard or the Air National Guard of the state of Alabama. Both the proclamation and the executive order were issued under and expressly invoked the authority of sections. There's a couple of sections. It's Title 10 of the U.S. Code, letter from the AG to a senator. It's explaining exactly what's happening now. You're hindering, obstructing, whatever. It's illegal. What's going to happen? Supreme Court's going to need to get involved, and the pissy pants on the left are not going to like what could legally happen. Remains to be seen, because a lot of stuff's disappearing, a lot of promises are not being kept, and no one's in jail yet. They're teetering, and there are people saying it's going to happen. I think I heard the word cattywampus used yesterday. Someone was describing what AG Pam Bondi's got to do. Cattywampus is one of my dad's words, giving a big shout out to him. My father, Tom O'Neill's words are cattywampus, apoplectic, and catatonic. So if you ever hear those, it's probably my dad around. But so in a nutshell, when local and state authorities refuse to obey the law, the feds can step in. Up in Portland, we're having the anarchy going on up there. The chief of police, his name is Bob Day. He's actively helping Antifa, the anarchists. He's telling them what to do, what they can do, how to avoid them. He's hindering with federal law. And Portland, I've been talking about them all day. I think they're lost. Go check it out, though. Go see it. If you go see it, if you go to Portland and get video of a very clean place, go like to Weinhardt's Brewery or go to Voodoo Donut or something like that. Shoot some video in Portland, and if it's clean as a whistle, send it to me and I'll reimburse you for your flights. So just get me that stuff. You got to prove it, though. But with all this happening, here's another one trying to bring people together. Can you imagine if the left, and I'm being honest here, if the left cared as much about this country as they do about stopping Donald Trump and calling Nazis and shit like that? Can you imagine 10% of what they do if they tried to work with each other? Because you only need a certain amount of votes for certain things. The government wouldn't be shut down with 60 votes. That's what you need. If they cared about their constituents and not criminals, not illegals, not everything that they think is right for some weird-ass reason, man, we'd be crushing it. But they're not going to. Border crossings right now are the lowest they've been since 1970. We got to get the criminals out, figure out the rest. I don't want to see families being deported, especially if they've been here a long time. But then you got the dude in Maryland who's a straight-up sex trafficker on tape, and the left sends congressmen down to South America to have a margarita with them. That's fantastic. But so we'll just do. Oh, and on that too, I need to say this again. I'm just reiterating because the thing that I reported on, I'm trying to do live stuff too earlier. The rumor mill going around is that I am a spy now working for Fox News, and I am telling everyone that Antifa is bad and the cartels are bad. There's another one too. Just hear me out here. I haven't been on Fox News since my book, The Way Forward, was released like 2 years ago, or maybe longer than that. I was on a couple times. That's not me. I was joking about it earlier, and I tweeted out that, yeah, that's me. Hit us with A10s. That was a joke, but like seriously, I'm not. That's not me on TV doing that. The dude, whatever. It ain't me. Enough of that bullshit. Let's talk day in history because this is fun. On this day, this is October 8th, 2025. So we're going to talk about October 8th just to close out. In 1962, speaking of fair and honest elections, remember that in 2020? But you admit it's a free and fair election. Fuck no, it wasn't. Morons. How many votes did Biden get? 71 million? Something like that. That's a lot of votes.
But speaking of fair votes, on this date, October 8th in 1962, North Korea reported 100% election turnout. Everyone in the country voted, with miraculously 100% voted for the Workers' Party. Take that one to your coffee shop. Who do you think side the Workers' Party's on? Usually the communists. North Korea, communist country. 1962, 100% turned out in the country, 100% voted for the Workers' Party. We get Kim Il-sung. Kim Il-sung, the father of Kim Jong-il, who's the father of Kim Jong-un. None of them have buttholes. They don't poop because they work so hard. They use up all their energy, and they've all only golfed one time, and they all shot a perfect 18. That is dope. I went golfing yesterday, and it was horrible. That's a tough game. I don't know what it is. Why is it that hard? The ball's right there. Why can't you hit it? On this day in 1971, Apple Records releases John Lennon's second solo studio album, and that one was called Imagine. It released it in the UK to top the charts everywhere. USA, UK, Australia, I think 3 other countries. On October 8th of 1986, The Color of Money was released. Great movie. Paul Newman, Tom Cruise, directed by Martin Scorsese. It premiered in New York City on October 8th, 86. Great. It's a great movie. I liked it. It's a movie about pool and money, and they go hand in glove. In 1992, on October 8th, Mortal Kombat was released in 2D by Midway Games. Mortal Kombat. Now, the gamers today are a much different level than I was when I was a gamer back in college, right around senior high school, college days. We'd sit around 321 North Washington, which is my apartment in Butte, Montana, with a big, beautiful red sidewalk. Great time. That was a fun time, right before I left for the Navy. We would play Mortal Kombat, though. So that was the stand-up game, but then we had it on Nintendo or one of those. Was it Sega, maybe? I don't know. We had it on one of them. Not as complex. It's one of the fighting games that I can play because there's not a million buttons and you couldn't really get on the headphones and talk shit. You had to be in person and talk shit. Sometimes those fights led to fights, but Mortal Kombat, man. What was your character? I loved to be Johnny Cage. That was my guy. I could kick some ass with Johnny Cage. And a year later, on October 8th, Howard Stern released his first book called Private Parts. I love that book. That movie's awesome, too. I was on Howard Stern before. He was very nice to me. I still get Christmas cards. I know there's some stuff in there. Politics, man, why are we letting everything ruin I'm not saying my relationship with Howard Stern's ruined. I'm just saying, why do you let politics ruin relationships? You should be able to discuss stuff, maybe disagree, fine. You don't need to fight, and get a coffee together. If you're a right-wing dude and you're arguing politics with a left-wing dude or left-wing woman, left or right, as soon as you're done arguing, go to a left-wing coffee shop. Talk about it over coffee. I guarantee the left makes really good coffee. I've said that twice now. Here's a good one, too. On this day, in 2001, we were just attacked, October 8th, President George W. Bush announces the establishment of the Office of Homeland Security. Doesn't that sound awesome? Never let a tragedy go to waste. Hello, TSA. 2004. Oh, here's when we were cracking down on crime. October 8th, Martha Stewart begins a 5-month incarceration at a federal prison camp, Alderson, for insider trading and obstruction of justice. Thank God they got the violent criminals off the streets. Martha Stewart. And on this day, because we're one day after October 7th, Israel formally declares war on Hamas. As the death toll was slowly getting close to 1,100 people were killed. And how bad. That was bad, man. That whole thing still, there's so much stuff that a lot of people aren't going to tell you. I'm still questioning why it took 6 hours to respond in the most secure border in the world. We're going to have to dive into that. I don't want to dive too much into that. I'll get into my position on a lot of that too. I've been on a lot of sides of different conflicts, and I'm here to tell you right now, Hamas fucking hates you. Palestinians, man, they vote in Hamas. I do get on social media once in a while too. The algorithms are really telling us to hate Israel right now too. You've seen a lot of that out there. My name gets brought up too, just because. Well, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I just do the weird thing where I ask questions. Something doesn't seem right. The Charlie Kirk assassination to me does not seem right. A lot of questions out there. My issue, I still am not saying here's what happened because I was not there and I haven't been there. Is it true that as soon as Charlie got shot, someone hopped on him, tore off his lavalier, and someone got rid of the camera, and they redesigned and repaved over the site? Is there an autopsy report yet? Do we have where his body was buried? I'm just asking questions. And if the answer is yeah, is there a death certificate? Did I say that? How did they book that huge stadium 11 days later in Arizona? 11 days. I heard a guy yesterday say that a dude that plans events that big. That place, I watched the Super Bowl there. The one where for some reason the Seahawks decided not to give Marshawn Lynch the ball on like the 1 yard line to win the Super Bowl. We'll just throw an interception real quick and let the Patriots win it. Great game. I was there for that one. That was remember the left shark, right shark? I saw that. I was on the 50-yard line. I saw that shit in person. I think the most loaded dude in the stadium was the left shark. What do they call him? Right shark? Whatever. It was on Katy Perry's left, my right. Or Katy Perry's right, my left. Well, it doesn't matter. That's a big place. They hold Super Bowls there. 11 days, they have a full-on hootenanny with pyrotechnics. The guy that I was listening to who plans these events said, I've planned events like that before. It takes 11 days to plan the parking. So just asking questions. If stuff doesn't seem right. And with AI, we don't know what's really happening anyway. But I mean, even today, like I listen to a lot of different news information places. I watch the internet and not always on Instagram. I was mentioning that I'm not checking the comments, but there are people out there now that are on the right and they're laughing at this. They say, "Oh yeah, there must be tunnels underneath where Charlie Kirk was shot because there are people that are deeply on the side of Israel, and you know, Israel has reasons to help people influence their cause." But laughing that, you know, making elaborate jokes about an assassination, saying it's just impossible that there was anything other than one shooter on a roof with a 30-06 that changed his clothes a bunch of times and then took his gun apart and put it back together and took it apart and put it back together and took it apart and put it back together and changed his clothes again and then jumped off a roof and then, you know, I don't want to get into that today. I still would like to know what happened. I mean, I even had a law enforcement buddy of mine, former SEAL, former Secret Service, Jonathan Gillum. He and I were talking. It's the reactions of the crowd do seem to look like someone took a shot from a spot. You can set up diversions too. Again, I wasn't there. Why are people getting in trouble for asking questions though? When you're not allowed to ask questions, that's a problem. If you're just blind leading the blind, that's it. But I didn't want to close with something that morbid. It's obviously just tragic. I knew Charlie Kirk. And I really liked him. He told me once, I need to run for office. And I said, okay, if you want me to run for office, I will, but I'm going to run as a Democrat, no doubt. And he said, you're going to run as a Democrat. Why? I said, because I am corrupt as fuck. That's just a little light political humor. Never lose your sense of humor. Never lose your sense of humor. Try to keep morale high and give someone a hug, fake a smile if you have to. But enjoy your day. And you're never out of the fight.